welcome back to the annual Luxstat Game of the Year award thing where we talk about games that are new to us in 2025. The only award show that regularly forgets the number one for one of us or both of us, because that's what happened last year. I'm Evan of Luxstat. With me, as always, is my longtime collaborator, longtime editor, co-editor of the Borderlands video this year, Visceral, Pandemic, some other stuff. Takes a look at all the Luxstat.
You could just say your best friend. That's fine too.
It's fun. Yeah, I feel like I got to justify it. Yeah. The as
you don't really have to justify how the amount of YouTubers that are like, "Hey, here's a random person that's not on the internet anymore."
Yeah. Which is you, to be fair. As I have been referring to her as the Marge Simpson of video games because she just thinks they're neat. You don't want to know how long.
That's too fair.
You don't want to know how long I've been working on that one. Dakota, how are you, Dakota? Happy 2026.
Doing good. This year has had some bangers. I typically like to try and do like 52 games in a year, like a game a week ish. This year I fell short, not by too much. I 46. I got one in under the bell. So I think it's been a pretty solid year. Found a new lot of additions to the top 10 all times list. Found some new wonderful stinkers. Yeah,
I was gonna say I think I came in about 13 this year, which is low for me for sure. I think one year when we were like, we've been doing this for about 6 years, and I know there was one year where we were doing our top 10s, and even then, and I remember that year I was like, I barely had 20. This is particularly low even for usual for me. I replayed a lot of stuff this year in particular. I played like the Jedi games and BioShock and the Tomb Raider game. I replayed this year, the 2016, the reboot, or
the Shadows or whatever.
Or the like first
series.
Of those.
Okay.
Yeah. Typically, in the past, we have done a bottom five and a top five, because again, Dakota plays just incredible levels of trash. It's really the only way to put it. A longtime lover of shovelware, but this year,
it's such a weird problem to have.
It is. The only person I know who's played the Minute to Win It Wii game, I think. I remember you playing that.
And on Xbox.
Yeah. But yeah, so you have two of them that you really wanted to like make sure that we talked about. Do you want to go with them?
Yeah. So the first one, I wish I had the box with me. I've packed it away. It's a PS5 game that I, while I was in my excursions to the UK, found at a for all the American viewers. They have what they call the CEX shops, which are their big game stores, their big used game stores. They all call it sex.
I was like,
no, like hesitation. It's like whatever the joke's dead. They just go to the sex shop, you know?
Yeah.
And while I was there, I found a game for £5. I don't know the transition, the money conversions.
Yeah.
I didn't do any of that stuff there. I just kept buying. It's the 2024 Christmas Advent Calendar for the PS5. It got a physical release, which is weird enough for me alone. It was like $5, which is my perfect price point. And it had an easy platinum. So like the trifecta of things that I want in a video game. It's a collection of like little mini games, so to speak, that you can set it to play like it only unlocks one game every day, so you play it like an advent calendar. You can just start it with it all unlocked. I thought, haha, wouldn't it be funny to set it to that? And then I was like, it's gonna take me. I'm gonna have to go out of the thing, change the date on the PS5, go back in, beat the minigame, do that 25 times. And then I realized I'm playing this in 2025. So it reads the calendar and it's like, oh, you've already unlocked everything. So I just like, what a weird dated piece of like, it's put that in with the Maddens, you know, like where's the annual Christmas Advent calendar that I can put on my shelf sequentially, you know?
I think it's even worse than like a Madden a little bit because it's like what would you get it for Thanksgiving? And then like, I don't understand like the target market. Like there's something I can't think of a game other than like a live service that becomes that outdated at a certain point. It's very weird.
At this point, your grandma isn't buying video games for you.
That's true.
Like, I don't know who's like, they're buying like V-Bucks cards or like, I don't know what kids are buying these days, but they're not getting video games as an advent calendar unless their like parents are really like, hey, this is cool. Look at this. So I don't know who this was for. I don't know why this was made. But it's cool to have. Like,
it shocks me as well that it's on PS5 because I've heard you talk about this before. We've talked about this a little bit, but even though you said it was 2024, my brain is like, oh, this is like a PS3 game, maybe. Like this reeks of like it's like I almost find myself like a little bit nostalgic for like this kind of trash this generation, where it's just like this disposable thing that you see at like a disc replay or whatever. You know, it surprises me.
I think the weird thing too for me is the state of like trophy hunting's a little messed up because of like AI and all this stuff where there's no like real stamp of approval from Sony. You can put out games that you just click the button 500 times and suddenly in like 5 minutes you get a platinum, and it's like, you know, $1 a pop. And so you can do this, and each time you buy the game there's different SKUs, so you're essentially just buying platinums. And I think that's really dumb. And this one, if it was just a digital game, I think it would fall in that category pretty easily, but since it's not, and since I have it physically, all aboard.
Okay.
The second game.
Yeah, so the second game, you wouldn't tell me what it was, so I'm curious as to what it was.
This is the first year where we've seen each other's top and bottom 10 lists. So this one got added after I sent it to Evan. I beat it on New Year's Eve with some friends in like this like menagerie of bad games that I like to inflict upon my friends. It's a PS3 game. I got it in a triple pack deal on eBay like forever ago with like Jeopardy and then some other like quiz show TV game. Oh, you don't know Jack. I really just wanted Jeopardy. But for $5 I got all three of these games. So I was like, okay, cool, whatever. The game's called Truth or Lies. Aggregate Metacritic score of like 20 to 30.
Furiously.
It is a microphone game where you and your friends ask each other questions or answer questions. The thing that you do in this game that allows that to happen is you calibrate the mic. The mic, when calibrated, is supposed to sense if you're telling the truth or not. It never works. We no joke, me and my friends like pushed it to its limits to the point where I would take the mic and go E for truth and O for not true, or for for lies, and it still couldn't register that. It was the most insane thing. And then you have like the questions, which are like raunchy party questions and genuinely heinous shit. Like I get
you sent me one and I was like,
edgy.
Jesus Christ, like
very
this is
dated,
rough. Yeah.
Even for 2010.
Yeah.
It is. I can't imagine if this game was at all popular that it couldn't have ruined a few like friendships and relationships because like one, you shouldn't be playing this game. This is like We Dare, where it's like, hey, it's sexy Mario Party. Like, no, just don't. Like, other than to laugh at the game, don't play this. I think it maybe took me 30 minutes to play everything the game had to offer, which is not anything at all, really. Absolutely abysmal time. Worst game of my year, but provided the most laughs, which honestly, like, that's all you can really ask for. And the fact that I essentially didn't pay anything for it, like,
I think that there's a version of this game that might be somewhat interesting. It also feels like this isn't necessarily the first like sexy Mario Party game that you've done. I feel like you had one last year as well.
Yeah, We Dare.
We Dare. That's the one. Yeah, the Scott the Woz episode.
PS Move. Yeah, it's a PS Move game. Or it's a Wii game. I don't think you can get it. There's a Wii and a PS Move version, and I have the PS Move version. Oddly enough, my friends and I also made them play that last night as well, or not last night, on New Year's Eve, and that was funny. Our other annual tradition is to play Arthur Kart for the PS1, an old edutainment game. The developer had worked with Interplay on some things, some pretty impressive titles. I think it was one of the early Fallouts. So there is a little bit of pedigree to the people. We beat it 2 years ago now, and then this
Arthur Ready to Race.
Yeah, we just call it Arthur Cart. Us in the community call it Arthur Cart.
Yeah. The diehards. This doesn't even have a Wikipedia page. There ain't no way I'm gonna find anything about this.
It's weird. That's one of my favorite new traditions. Is to boot that up once a year. And now that I have my fat PS3, we don't have to ever switch consoles.
Oh yeah, that's right. You got a big one this year. Did it come into work or something? Is that what it was?
Yeah. I got 20% off of it, which was really nice. It overheated early, and so I had to just I had to clean it out, and it works fine now. So
you got me. Sorry, you've got me. You've got me on this.
You're in a rabbit hole.
Yeah. Sorry. So first off, your Truth or Lies game. The Nintendo Gamer review was we'd rather undergo a CIA interrogation than play this again, which is good.
No joke. At some point in the night, I started just reading the Wikipedia article into the microphone, and it records the lines that are the most truthful and the least truthful, and repeats it back. And that was one of the most truthful ones. And so it just, I don't know. It was,
yeah. That's
if you haven't read the Wikipedia article for this page, do yourself a favor.
The Arthur Ready to Race, yeah, they're like that developer Runecraft is all over a lot of stuff. That is wild. Okay, that'll be a fun rabbit hole for later. It's interesting when you got Barbie, Super Sports, and Spec Ops 2 and Soldier of Fortune on your Moby Games page. That's a real Barbie does war crimes,
Yeah.
So yeah, as we move into our top fives, typically our criteria for this is something where it's we feel like we've got our money's worth, or we finished it. Oftentimes that might be just playing a couple hours of it, something like that. But this one was one where it's kind of impossible to play all of it. My number 5 was the Old Republic MMO. So throughout the year, I typically find myself making a video that is far outside of the scale of something that I could do on a reasonable time frame. I typically like to keep videos out every couple months. So if something like this,
new video every Monday.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I find myself working on these videos that just gradually balloon into something huge. And I was working on 10 years of EA Star Wars games. Because it's the 10th year anniversary of Battlefront 1 and The Force Awakens, and also 10 years of us doing YouTube together and doing this as a craft. And so I felt like it was kind of a good way. And I ended up kind of realizing that I would have to just spend the end of the year working nose to the grindstone trying to get this done. But throughout the summer, I played a lot of the Old Republic MMO, which I had played in the past, which was done by BioWare and actually predates EA's exclusivity deal with Star Wars. But yeah, it was just a lot of fun to just kind of have a drink and watch. I remember specifically during Summer Games Fest, Giant Bomb does this couch talk show thing, and they had just come back because they were going through all of this disputes and stuff with the parent company, and ended up going independent. So it was really nice to just sit back, have a drink, and play this game where I am a Chiss spy. So I'm kind of evil James Bond running around, just being awful, just being all suave and sexy and cool to an organization that is just evil and wants everybody to be strictly in line. And so yeah, it was just a nice little fun game to just turn my brain off and play. So I've done the I think it's the Infiltrator class for the Sith Empire, and then I have done quite a bit of the main Jedi one as well, which is, both of those are kind of what people consider to be the best, because there's a lot of different classes that you can do and have their own origins that are 20 to 30 hours, and so kind of full games. And yeah, I think that BioWare is gradually becoming one of those studios that I just find myself playing a lot of the time. My number 1 last year that fittingly we didn't talk about was Dragon Age Origins.
I played Anthem this year and thought that was pretty dope. No business being so good.
Yeah. We're recording this about 3 days out before Anthem server shut down, and what a game. Secretly, what a game. Just kind of the exact kind of.
I think. Hold on. Let me pull up my stats because that's like a top 5 in terms of hours for me this year. I got the platinum for it.
You were playing. You played more of Anthem than I did this year. I kind of wish we would have played more because we didn't end up playing any together.
I put 62 hours in this game. I don't know. It's just really easy to like turn off your brain. I played Destiny before, and I was like, this is too much. I jumped in too late. The game's a little bit easier now than it was at launch just because they've patched a lot of things and when they decided to cancel the roadmap, they made it a little bit easier for you to get like nice weapons. So like the game was like pretty much handed to me like at the start, which was cool. It was really weird to see like a sort of like ornate dead Maul as like characters like leave the story only to like come back later, and it's like, oh god, you're dead to the world, like this is it. And then I read the prequel comics that Dark Horse put out. I don't think I've ever read a bad comic in my life, but that takes the cake. They say nothing, and they don't. As someone who has played the whole game and looked into the lore, there's nothing there. But yeah, BioWare really knows how to put a game together for sure.
I think it was one of our roommates, Matt, was talking about how he played Andromeda when it came out. And I remember he said it's not a good RPG necessarily. It's more that like the movement and the combat's really good. And I found that as well, where it's like, it's interesting to see. I'm not somebody who like bemoans the death of traditional RPGs or anything, so it's kind of interesting to see how BioWare has done that. Like again, like Dragon Age is a good example, and even the Old Republic is like kind of a good example of like how they have gradually like filed off the harsher edges of the traditional CRPG and stuff. But yeah, and Anthem kind of being this conclusion where it's not an RPG, it's this completely different game. Is interesting in and of itself, but yeah. What was your number 5?
So I don't want to stay on this point too long, just because it was my this series was my number 1 last year. But Astrobot, the full PS5 game, tip to tail, I think that was the only thing I played in a week. It was just so like engrossing. Every aspect of the PS5 is used beautifully. I love seeing all the little characters. I love seeing Sony pay homage to its own lineage, so to speak. I was working on a big video about Sony's mascots and trying to play. It was like a reason to play all of them. And I was like, oh man, it's so difficult. Like you have Kratos who's spanned the test of time since the PS2, and then you have Ratchet who's done the same, and like no one has really stayed since the PS1. And like each era has their own specific figures. Yeah. And I thought that was cool, and there was like a really like interesting thought piece to do there. And then Astrobot comes out and it's like, no, if this guy isn't it, then Sony is like throwing themselves away. Like it is literally a character built to pay homage to what makes PlayStation great. Yeah. And I just think that it's so cool that they now have that. And I genuinely wonder what Team Asobi will do in the future, just because you've done the one that pays tribute to all the machines that they've put out, to all the characters they've put out. Really, where are you gonna go? So if Astrobot stays like tucked away until like maybe they do a PSVR 2 game, or they wait for the next console to come out, I think that would probably be the best route, just because unless they have something up their sleeves, I don't know what it is. Honestly, I think it'd be super cool if they just did like a kind of a Smash Bros roster of like everybody's now in Astrobot. I don't think that'll happen, but like,
do you mean
just like a celebration of gaming as a whole would be cool?
You mean oh shit, what is it called? What's the PlayStation Smash Brothers called? PlayStation All-Stars?
Battle Royale All-Stars.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
You want Asobi to do that next, right?
Yeah, bring back Big Daddy.
Yeah, I was gonna say
I think
was it
BioShock
Jack or was
makes,
it? Yeah.
Yeah, we don't. It's a cool one.
Sorry.
don't bemoan PS Battle, whatever the game's called.
It's been interesting to kind of follow you going through these games because I am. Unfortunately, we talk about this regularly, but I unfortunately bought an Xbox this generation because I like taking my 15-year-old Xbox 360 games and sticking them into a brand new console and them working perfectly in 4K. But at the same time, this has been last year for sure. This was one where it was like, man, this was the first one that really felt like I really missed the boat on this one. That Playroom was your 2025 number one is really interesting.
I don't think
it's a museum, and you did the video game museum video.
Yeah,
exactly. Like that's the thing that you love.
Yeah, and they do a good job of that in this game too, where it's like you can run around this like little field and see everyone, and then the collectibles that you use coins on are like things that they have from the game, like Leon, you get like a backdrop for him where he's getting hunted by like zombies and stuff. Like there's a lot of cute little running gags, and how like certain figures are all like placed together and whatnot. It's super cool. I like it as much as the first one that comes pre-downloaded. I mean, it's just more of the same, honestly. Like, the only difference between any of the games is, like, the mode in which you play it. The VR title, I think, is the best out of all of them, just because I think they use VR in such a cool way in that game. But this is, I mean, what's the difference between different tens, so to speak? Like,
yeah. I think it's interesting to see a mascot being used to demonstrate a technology, because, again, it's like, it feels like the conversation around Astrobot Rescue Mission in particular was something where it felt like the Mario 64 moment a little bit for VR, where it was like, here's kind of the thing that exists, like that kind of justifies it and feels like it's using the technology in the way that it can be used. But sorry. So you sent me your list, and typically we kind of pick some random ones to talk about. And this year I got live updates and a front row seat to seeing you play a game that I bought on day one that I think about constantly for no reason at all, played far too much of. And I was like, Dakota, you have to play this because it reminds me of a game that I'm playing this year on my top 5 list, which we'll get back to. But you played Vin Diesel's Wheelman this year.
Yeah, we have a descriptor between us. It's sort of a running gag. This game is a Dakota-ass game, pretty much shovelware that is moderately enjoyable. This is an Evan-ass game. Like early era, bottom of the bin, bargain bin type game that wants to be the next GTA. I don't know a lot about Vin Diesel, but this game really piqued my interest to learn about the man.
Sorry.
He has, well, so I was wondering, I was like, does he play anything other than a meathead? There are 2 examples. He is a side character in a heist movie who plays this like suave like banker, and then his debut short film called Multifacial. Which is his directorial and acting debut. It's about 30 minutes. It's on YouTube. It's free. What is it? The Boiler Room, I think, is the heist movie he's in. That one's really cool because he plays like, I mean, he's still like man on top kind of thing. But he's more suave and like cool and like witty, and he plays that really well. Like, if you're a big Dom Toretto fan, like, this one's better. He embodies this role a lot more. And he is also surrounded by really good actors there. Not to say that he isn't otherwise. I tried to watch Pitch Black, the first Chronicles of Riddick movie. Awful.
Really?
Could not watch.
Oh,
This movie would have been cool in 2004.
Oh, there's going to be
you
at
can
least
see
one
where they're like
person watching
pushing.
this who's going to be very disappointed, and his name rhymes with Schmatty from Schmoked.
Yeah. Cool idea to like make all the shots unbearably bright and you can't see anything going on, and like sure,
Have you
whatever.
played Butcher Bay?
No, see. The thing is, I don't like those kind of stealth action games.
Okay.
And so it was like kind of a reprieve when I put that down like 40 minutes in. I was like, I don't want to watch this, and I know the games are good, but I'm just gonna take this out of my backlog.
Yeah, because you're big into Payday, and
that was only because I got
Starbreeze?
good at it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So did you end up watching it after all this? Did you end up watching any Fast and the Furious movies?
No, I've seen the first one, and I think the first one's interesting and has some fun heart to it. It's still that meathead character, and in Wheelman, I think it's the most meatiest he's ever been.
Mm-hmm.
I have never heard a character ever who is so overly serious and trying to be cool that whenever anyone makes a joke or is mildly sarcastic around him, it sounds like he doesn't get the joke.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like he is being mocked actively.
Yeah, like he's like an idiot. Like, yeah.
Yeah, it's so funny that throughout this game, he's supposed to be Mr. Macho CIA guy, and it seems like everyone's making fun of him. It's almost as if this game is a spoof. And that's kind of about halfway through where I went, if I retool it in my mind as like a GTA spoof that's playing it like Leslie Nielsen style, this is hilarious.
Yeah.
Awful game to play. The car's rubber banding just like snaps them right to you, but you don't do the same. So it's like every race is like pisses you off. The gun mechanics are like,
The guns are awful. I remember the guns even being awful. Yeah.
Why are they even there?
Yeah.
The map of Barcelona is so unnecessarily big and windy that it's like not fun to drive around. The story is so disjointed that it's like you get about halfway through and you're like, oh, why do all of these factions believe me? I've lied to them at every turn.
Yeah, you're like lying
every
to each individual. This is
and
way
they know
in
that
detail.
they know that you're at the other faction. They're like, hey, I saw you over there helping them. What the fuck is that about?
It kind of reminds me of this part.
Mind-blowing.
It reminds me of that part in Red Dead Redemption a little bit where you're in Mexico and it's like you're kind of working for both sides of that conflict a little bit, like, or you're like working with people where they're like kind of unhappy with you. I might be misremembering, but yeah.
No, you are. Yeah, because you work for like the state and then the rebels.
Yeah, and I think it's the old gunslinger guy like kind of gives you shit about it, and that's really the only time it comes up. But yeah, I remember.
Evan, what's that gunslinger's name? Welcome to the trivia bit. What is the gunslinger in Mexico's name? Do not.
I'm looking. I'm here. Look right at the camera. I was pretending like I didn't know it. I think it's Landon Ricketts.
Hey!
Okay. He was my favorite character, and I was always so sad because it was like people were so critical of the Mexico part when it came out, and then it was like I was like, like this is I love this part. Like I was sad that he didn't come back, and then he comes back in Undead Nightmare, I think.
Yeah, he's a zombie in that, I think.
I can't remember. Yeah, but
they reference him in 2 where they're like, "What do you think? You're some Landon Ricketts?" And it's like,
"Hey,
I love that guy."
I love a famous like gunslinger kind of character like that, like a Rooster Cogburn, of course, being the iconic one. But Wheelman was one that I bought on day one at Target. I remember I scrounged together money because it was in like Game Informer or something. I don't know. My mom would like leave me in the magazine section when I was a kid while she shopped at Kroger. And I remember being like, okay, well, I'm just going to like read video game magazines. So I read like a lot of like, not Game Informer because that was always in Game Pro. And I think there must have been something where it was in Game Pro. And I was like, well, I'll play this. Like, and then I managed to like buy it. We were like at Target for some reason, and I was like, I'm gonna buy this. And when you said like, oh, like Barcelona's too windy or whatever, like, and it's so big, and it's like when you're 12, man, that's the kind of stuff you love, like especially because I think that's teen, and that might have been before I would, because like I didn't play Grand Theft Auto until like a friend like left it at my house, and so it was like I played this in like a couple other stuff that was similar, like Mercenaries for sure. This is the kind of like broke trash open world GTA cloned stuff that I am all
The
over.
difference is you paid $60 for it, and I paid $5.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Anyway, speaking of games that I feel are absolutely Evan games, this year I played Shadows of Mordor, which is the Lord of the Rings Force Unleashed game, is how I think about it in my head, because it feels like the over-the-topness of the Force Unleashed for the Lord of the Rings. This is like kind of everything that I love out of Xbox 360 era games, especially because it feels like an Assassin's Creed game. It feels like a Batman game. It started out as a Batman game. I think that Monolith was such a cool studio. Yeah, we'll be doing that a couple times. Was such a cool studio for a long time. And it was interesting to see them like develop this system that everybody kind of wants to use. So I actually played some of this last year and then kind of came back to it for the Hobbit video and ended up finishing it. Started it over and finished it. And then, and so I had played it when I played Syndicate, Assassin's Creed Syndicate. And there's definitely like not Starbreeze's Syndicate, Assassin's Creed Syndicate. And there's a system in there where you're like taking down like street gangs. And it very much feels like it wants to do the Nemesis system, but it can't because of the patent. And so it was like I was very curious to see what they would do with Wonder Woman when that went under this year. And yeah, maybe one day I'll do a Monolith video. I don't know, but for right now, I think that Dakota, I actually like genuinely, even though I know you cannot stand.
I started it.
Have you really? Okay, I was gonna say
Yeah.
you're not into high fantasy at all.
I have made a list of games I'd like to complete this year by like maybe avoiding the trash a little bit more, and that is on there. I have started it. It's been sitting in my backlog for a while. I think I'll like it. I've been getting way more into Lord of the Rings stuff. So watch next year where I'm talking about it.
I'll be excited to hear. I just really enjoyed it, and it was one that I like kind of remember coming out and people being like, yeah, it's okay, and I was like, oh no, I actually really enjoyed this. Not a Tolkien lore expert or anything. Like, I'm sure that there's things that are wrong in this, but I really enjoyed just ripping through it. Just felt real good to play.
Speaking of ripping through it, feeling good to play, me and all of your other favorite YouTubers have been screaming about this game for a couple of years now. Peglin, it's the gameplay of Peggle. It's the setup of Slay the Spire. It's the execution of Balatro. It's all those games combined. 3 of my favorite games combined into one. It is hard to put down. They have given me the absolute godsend of 2x speed mode so I can play more faster. It is genuinely so addicting to be like, hey, here's my build for Peggle. Like, God, I've put too many hours into it. I will continue putting too many more hours into it. A couple of my friends at work have it on their phone, and I'm like, I could not. You could not. If I had that on my phone, to be fair, I have a game on my phone that does suck up all my time, and I do play it way too much. But I would just be gone. You'd never hear from me.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you too much more because you should just go buy it because it's a cheap indie game, and you'll join the masses of people going, why is no one talking about this game? Because the second you get into it, if you like any of those games, if you're a moderate fan of Peggle, like this is just more of one of the best games ever. You'll just want to grab everyone by the shoulders and be like, play Peggle now.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is rapidly becoming. We talk about Dakota ass games. Like, I feel like last year, like in the start of this year for sure, like these kind of roguelikes and like card gambling kind of adjacent feeling games are starting to become. I don't want to spoil anything because I can see your list. But yeah, kind of becoming your thing, like increasingly more. Yeah. Well, like Hades last year.
Yeah,
as well.
Last year I had Hades, Inscription. Yeah, and those were the only 2, but I put way too much time into that.
So when are
Hades? I still got to come back
because Peglin is a pachinko game, right?
Yeah.
When are you
when
going
are you
to
gonna come back to Yakuza?
Yeah, when are you going to become a professional pachinko player?
Listen, I will get back to Yakuza at some point.
Yeah,
I have
yeah.
a save in Zero started. I did beat the Yakuza zombie game.
Dead Souls. Yeah, I can't believe that. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I don't know. That's Yakuza is just one of those game series where I'm like, I can understand where this is going, but since I haven't finished one of the proper titles and met all the characters and like enjoyed the interplay between the characters, I'm just so out of the loop. I'm like, I'm just gonna go drink at the bar,
Yeah, I'm just gonna
and then I'm gonna go
yeah.
buy some snacks. I'm gonna go to bed, and I'm gonna get up and then play, Outrun in the arcade, and then do it all over again.
This was my experience in Japan this year. I don't know what to tell you.
The only reason you went to Japan was just to live out your Yakuza fantasy,
it's
and
true.
not being in the Yakuza, but just being in the game.
Oh yeah,
like,
yeah.
wearing a nice suit around, like.
Yeah. Just
I think it's time to go to the batting cages,
yeah,
guys.
just sweating as I see, racks of bikes so I can hit people with them, So do you want to talk about the Switch 2?
What am I going to add to it? I have been off the internet. I don't know anything about it. It looks. I'm your.
Dakota, I'm trying
your
to feed
dear
you
old mom going, honey, why do you need the Wii U? You have a Wii. Can we just get the tablet?
I'm trying to feed you that I played Mario Kart World this year. It's not in my top 5, but I was trying to feed you, which was.
Hi, I bought a Switch 2. My name's Evan, and I need to talk about it. It's just gonna gather dust on my shelf. Did you at least get the Donkey Kong game that everyone's losing it for? No?
No.
What? No.
So
okay.
So my wife bought a Switch 2.
Okay.
And so I was very nice because I'm like, I got video games other places, so I'll let you just handle this. She's like, do you want to play the Donkey Kong game? And I was like, no, it's okay. I'll wait until I get my own. Like a handheld to me, which she primarily plays a handheld, is like a very like intimate thing to me. Like it kind of gets your dry skin goop in.
God forbid you get cooties from your wife.
Yeah,
from
like come on,
from touching her
gotta
handheld
keep her at
console.
arm's length. No. But throughout the summer, we kind of whittled through Mario Kart World, which is fine to okay, I will say. I don't
a glowing review.
I don't know. Maybe I'm not into Mario Kart. I don't know what it is. But people have turned on this one too, for sure. I feel like it's I watch HBR Shredders and I think Jason Graves is Waiting for Nintendo, and Mario Kart World is a particular punching bag for them, which I highly recommend.
Wow.
It's great show, but there's just not a lot there, I think is what it is. It's like they do this thing where you're kind of going through like a road trip in between tracks, and it makes it so that you're not actually playing that much of like the cool tracks. It definitely, but yeah, because it's like you're like half the time you're like on the highway, like going from the robot world to the Tuscany world or whatever, it's, I don't know. It's cool that there are like random guys. Like I can be a Pianta guy from Super Mario Sunshine, but like other than that, like everything that it does, I think that Burnout Paradise does better, which is, there is so much in there that feels like Burnout Paradise, or like Eliminator mode from
okay.
Revenge is in there, and like the world, like they finally did an open world, and it's like, yeah, but like what about the best open world? It's the camera stuff is in there. I don't know. I just wanted to talk about it because that's a 2025 game that I feel like we don't often have 2025 games to talk about, if ever. I played another one this year that I didn't make my top 5. So, yeah.
Astrobot was mine. The TCG Card Shop Simulator is another one that came out this year.
Astrobot
Split
was
Fiction.
Last year. Oh yeah, did you play Split Fiction?
Split Fiction, yeah. It's other than like the dialogue being kind of like who's the asshole that ruined?
Joss Whedon.
Yeah, very Joss Whedon-esque, where they're trying to quip back and forth. And the whole time you're kind of like, this is, if you like doing the co-op stuff, if you like the mechanical co-op stuff, this is more of the good stuff. I think that they don't explore the ideas of writing in as interesting of a way as they could have. They're very much like, oh, she only writes sci-fi and she only writes fantasy, and there's going to be some trauma that they work through. And it's like, okay, you know, we see that, and like the sci-fi levels are really boring, the fantasy levels are fantastic, and then the side stories are like really where the level design shines. But it is just It Takes Two, and I didn't really go into it, I want more of that, but my wife and I are getting the platinum together, and it's fun, and it's all, I love everything that studio does, so
have you played
it's
A Way
more
Out?
of a good time. Oh yeah, we've played all of them.
Okay, I didn't know.
My wife has 2 platinum trophies. It's this, A Way Out, and she hasn't gotten It Takes Two because there's one really hard platforming trophy that I can't do for her. I could, but I don't.
You could, but you don't want to. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's cool. I didn't know you ended up playing that. That's cool. My number 3 is big again. I think that's the theme of the year. That's big on the Evan As games. This game could not have been designed in a lab to be more my thing. This is an espionage spy game. As a diehard James Bond fan, it's an espionage spy game made by probably my favorite studio, Obsidian. Alpha Protocol. Did I say that? I don't know. Alpha Protocol, which it's hugely reactive, kind of that exact like 2010s ish, post Cold War kind of stuff that you see in, again, like Casino Royale or something like that. It feels very Bourne. They're talking about like making one of the JBs, like Jason Bourne, James Bond, or Jack Bauer. That's the one from 24. From 24.
Is that something that you heard in like your research of the game, or did you make that up?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember going through that script and editing it for you, and I was just like, that's clever as hell.
Yeah. I think it's Fergus.
You shouldn't have told me that. I wish you would have just been like, yeah,
I should take credit for this. This is another word. This is gradually devolving into us trying to pull names, but the grand irony of Alpha Protocol is that the guy you play is not a JB. I think his name's Mike Thornton, which is just an awful name. But anyways, I'm kind of like fascinating. Like we talk about like Yakuza, like I'm kind of fascinated by like adapting RPG like tropes into like more contemporary settings. Like I think that's really interesting, and like I would love like this kind of exact kind of game that's like hugely reactive, but for like a Sopranos like gangster game, I think would be really cool, because this is based off of Top Secret, which is an old tabletop game, and so I would like to see somebody take a crack, like more than any other game. I think that I would like to see like an Alpha Protocol 2, or like an extension of like this sort of interesting take on like doing Mass Effect but making it something else. I don't know. I think it's just interesting to me.
Games that only Evan is asking for. Yeah. Alpha Protocol 2.
Hey,
that's. I mean, would you rather have Outer Worlds 2 or Alpha Protocol 2? I mean, well, I think I would have rather had them try Alpha Protocol again.
I got Outer Worlds 2 for Christmas.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's fine. It's even I don't know. A lot of people on that Van Buren video in particular just love to crap on Outer Worlds, and don't get me wrong, I don't think it's particularly great, but like it's not.
It's fine.
And I think it's very inoffensive, and that's the thing is I think that Obsidian's offerings this year in particular feel, because they released 3 games this year, which is really impressive to think about. Which was Grounded 2 being the outlier, but Avowed, which I also played all of this year. It's okay. That's a long conversation, but I think that I'm curious to see, because they did this like right before New Vegas. This was like their last game on like their like a different engine, like Unreal or something, and they were like making their proprietary tech, and then they just like ended up doing New Vegas, and they did like Darkest Dungeon. There's like this period where Obsidian games are just like good games, but like using different systems each time, and like nowadays they're better put together. They're less likely to just blow apart and crash, but like they're at least like, I don't know, I think that they were more interesting back then, if not necessarily good. And that's the thing, is like this one, you get to the end and you're like, that was it. You know, I feel like you're setting a lot of stuff up, but it was cool to kind of see or like read guides and be like, well, if you did this thing 10 hours ago, you might have this option. And it's like people are trying to figure out how this game fits together. I played the GOG version, which I hear is more stable. But yeah, I don't know, just kind of my exact era of RPG that I like. So yeah.
This along with Wheelman, I did start Alpha Protocol a while, I think this year at some point, and then just was like, this is a little much for me right now. But this goes in the category of games Evan talks about so much that I'm like, I guess I have to play it.
Yeah.
But
this is very peak. If you've been here for a while, this is real games you might have missed territory. This is real 99 cents at GameSpot. Pick it up, or GameStop out of the bargain bin. It doesn't even come in a box, and you're like, "Hey, what the hell is this?" And then you play it, yeah, and you end up either liking it or you hating it. And I ended up really liking it. So yeah, what was your next one?
So big BioShock fan. It wasn't until a couple of years ago that BioShock finally got dethroned as my number one game. But for years I've been trying to play like the spiritual successors, the System Shocks, and System Shock 2 has a pretty playable version on Steam. I bought it a while back and started playing it, but then it didn't, like, I had like a really early version that didn't handle saves right, so when they updated it, my save was gone. I was like 3 hours in. I was like, I think I'll pass. And thank God I did, because that is a hard game. I've revisited it recently with the remaster. I haven't gotten through, because it's a very much a game that I want to dedicate time to. So it's not after I come home and I'm exhausted. It's day off games. And very much System Shock Remake was also in that category, and it did not take me long to beat this game. I explored every nook and cranny. I tested the limits of the game. And no walkthrough, no guide, no like spoilers. I think I had to look up where I needed to go once or twice, because some of the, like, you know, it doesn't hold your hand. It gives you, like, you have to find, like, you know, note cards with, like, suggestions of where to go or how to do these things. And it was just so much fun to like kind of fall in love with games again in a way that I feel like I've been pushing myself to do this over and over again recently with like these single player narrative experiences, but just a fantastic playthrough. Night Dive did a 10 out of 10 job in recreating this, not in the old style, not in a new style, but in this like beautiful hybrid style where it's like if you get close to like the background, it looks like it's old. It looks like it's all pixelated in a cool way. So like there are no... It feels like there's no issues in the game because everything has kind of been accounted for. And like, just what a beautiful experience to be like, yeah, I could see BioShock coming from this.
Yeah.
In fact, I would like BioShock to be more like this. More, you know, you're not going from set piece to set piece to set piece. There's no like tunnel bringing you in. You can go through all of Rapture at the same time. Like,
yeah.
You know, give me the prequel novel made into a video game and let me just walk through Rapture. You know, it's the first bit of the second DLC for Infinite where you do get to see Rapture in all of its glory. Like, there is so much to explore in a prequel, I think, that could be very interesting and less shooty and more, like, explorative. And that is, you know, they have all the pieces here. Let Night Dive do something with it. Yeah. I don't know. Stop making them do like remasters and give them like some other IP that could use some love and in like a new creative way, because they've been working on this forever. Like this is
this was like a Kickstarter game, I feel like, at one point, like which was when that was popular. So like 2015 or so, you know.
They busted ass to make this game, and they made it to like the perfection. All of their hard work really paid off. Hats off. Super proud of you guys. I will be doing a hardcore playthrough at some time.
Pat him on the back.
Yeah. To the inevitable dev who worked on that, who somehow finds Evan's channel because Evan tracks devs.
They'll come from the XCOM video for sure.
Yeah. This random person says you did great.
Yeah. I ended up playing. I've played some of this. I got this like real cheap in like a collection or something. And I ended up playing some of System Shock 2 as well this year for the XCOM video. And I'm an idiot.
I think it's less so that this is not your style of games.
It kind of isn't.
I think it's too scary for you, Evan.
Nah, well, yeah. Well, I was gonna compare this to the Resident Evil remakes a little bit. This one in particular, the System Shock remake, and that was one where I was like, I don't have the good enough mental health to put up with Resident Evil 2 right now. I'm gonna put it down. That was big on my pile of shame this year, where I was like, it's all right. It's all right. I don't need to be chased constantly by something while I am just have crippling, overwhelming dread. It's fine. But I was surprised how much of, I don't know, like kind of that XCOM video is like very much a BioShock video, and you pointed that out, and I was like, when you read over it, and I was like, girl, there was more BioShock in this. Like it used to be like 20 minutes of BioShock. I like cut that down real hard, but kind of feeling like their thought process and like how like even like the ghost stuff is in there. I don't know if it's in System Shock 1 or not, but like a lot of the stuff that you see in BioShock 1 being in there, it's kind of interesting. But yeah, I'm very curious to see what like a Blue Point or somebody as well at PlayStation whose kind of whole thing is making remakes, like seeing what they would do. And yeah, I'd be curious to see to be honest, if Night Dive could do something like that. Like it would be interesting to see, especially because I think they've carved out a strong niche as doing these first person shooters. And so yeah, it'd be curious to see them do something else.
It feels like you're like a Jim Carrey who does a good impression, who does a fantastic impression, asking him to do his own comedy, and like he can. He's shown off his chops in that way, but I feel like this is the era where like we kind of push Night Dive to like do their own thing, give it a shot. Like I'm sure it makes crazy money to keep doing these ports, and I'm sure they love doing it. But I would like to see that team do something at least in this vein where it is very like pushing the player to explore. Because I feel like too much I am playing games for achievements and or for a video. Mm-hmm. So I have my goals of beat the game or push the game in a certain direction or ruin it for myself and look up the certain things and like only focus on the X, Y, or Z. And this is like one of the few games where I could turn that off and turn on the section of my brain. You look at like the different player archetypes there are, and this is like, I'm an explorer. I like exploring. I like set design that tells the story, and this game tells so much story if you're looking for it. So yeah, absolutely highly recommend. This jumped into my top 10 almost immediately, like just fell in love. And I've tried to play the original too, and the original like the Steam version where they give you mouse and keyboard controls, and like it's cool. I don't think I could play it now after playing this, just because they get rid of a lot of the esoteric RPG stuff and just kind of make it a straight shooter. And I think that works a little bit more for the exploration aspect of the game. You're not so worried, but you're still resource gathering because that is an important part of it. But you don't have to put like 8 million points into like door opening so that you can get to the final boss or something stupid like that, because that original game was so notorious for soft locking you out of areas. And it's like, cool, now I don't have to worry about Dark Soulsing myself into a corner where I can no longer progress.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like I remember you playing, it must have been System Shock 2 in college and being like, I got pretty far, and then it was just like, you can't go any further if you didn't do this thing 6 hours ago. And I was like, I give up. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's interesting that you talk about like it being a space, and then BioShock, which I replayed this year, and I don't know, you press me, I might call it my favorite game ever. I don't know, it or Fallout New Vegas probably. You know, you can tell what year we were born just by saying that. I feel like that's a real you know, you're almost 30 kind of favorite game. But you know, I think that BioShock feels like a ride at Disney World, and I think that System Shock like feels like a place. You know, but
feels like a haunted house.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Like a mix between a haunted house and an escape room.
Yeah.
You have to engage with it actively. Not that you don't have to engage with BioShock, but it feels like you're allowed in these spaces for so long. You can explore them until you're done, and then you leave.
On kind of a similar vein, I ended up playing this for the XCOM video, and like kind of my number 2, this is an insane number 2. I recognize that this would probably be number 1. Was Half-Life 2. I have played Half-Life 1. I played it in 2020, I believe. I liked it quite a bit. And then I had played this one on the Orange Box in high school, but never finished it. And I got to the point where I hadn't been any further, and I was like, oh wow, I was very far. So I got all the way up to Highway 17 in high school, and then
just stopped.
And I just stopped. That's just how I played video games, you know, when I was younger.
Wild.
Yeah, just
I got to the climax, and as someone was about to die, I turned the TV off.
That's how I have watched TV in particular for years. There's definitely a lot of shows where it's like, I got to the last like 2, and I decided to drop off of it because I kind of liked how it started. But yeah, this is one where it's obviously it's great. I might like one a little more for sure.
Interesting.
I love the ending of this. I think I love the ending more than I like Zen. But there's like a chunk like in between Highway 17 and the ending where you're it's an old game. Maybe you have played it, maybe you haven't. If you don't want to hear, I guess. But where you're basically like Emperor Palpatining with the gravity gun. You're just like blowing people up. Feels awesome. And especially because you've just went through that really hard fight with all of the walkers. But I don't know. Like the opening of that game is perfect. I think that the way you're like, it feels like fucking Mirror's Edge or something, where you're just like on the run and you cannot stop. And then it's like all the way up through like the fan boat stuff. And I think I'm maybe not super into Ravenholm, but I don't know. I didn't play the episodes either. I know.
That's like the best chapter.
I know. I don't know. This is one where it was like we were coming up to the end of the year, and we're like, well, typically we do the end of the year stuff about this time, and I was like, oh no, I only have 4 games that I want to talk about because they're, you know, I don't have enough. And I was like, well, I started some of this for footage for the XCOM video, and I was like, I kind of wanted to finish it, so I trucked through it. I played a lot of this at the back, so it kind of feels like I rushed it, and I think that's probably why this is number 2. Like realistically, it feels like it's, you know, good timing. Like I don't know if I've told you this or not, Dakota, but it's like the rumors are very heavy about like Half-Life 3. Like
it's
we
just keep getting the teasing and like the memes, and like I thought that was dead, other than like you gotta say it every now and then, but like it feels like very arrow to the knee era meme where it's like, okay guys, let's stop joking about it. But I feel that in the air, and I like it. But what I like more is if they make that, eventually they'll make a Portal 3. That's what I'm really excited for.
Or we'll get that. Oh man, what is the one?
Dota 3?
Campo Santo's working on that they canceled. Oh, it's literally like my dream video to do, but there is no information about it. In the Valley of the Gods is what it's called.
Oh, I've heard of this.
Yes. Oh man, what a cool looking game. But there was just nothing, and they ended up getting folded into Alex and kind of going from there. So but I watched like a video that was like, here's all of the stuff that we think will be in the new Half-Life, which is interesting to see because it's like we have a lot. That was always the thing where it's like it felt like there wasn't the tech or whatever.
Yeah.
Like the tech justification is like a big part of it, and they're like, we got the tech. Like there's some new stuff that like new systemic stuff that's very cool that may happen. I don't know. Maybe it'll happen. Maybe it won't. I don't know.
That's a day one purchase. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't make day one purchases much. That's a day one purchase.
When did you play 2? Out of curiosity.
I played it in high school.
Did you?
Yeah, because I played 1 and then I immediately played 2.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because you were more of a PC gamer when you were.
Yeah, I had a laptop.
Yeah.
I remember playing the first one with a tab, like a walkthrough tab open, because it was like the first one's just so weird. The second one I think is a game. If you had to show a game as like the quintessential video game, like that's one that just feels fresh every time. When you push on the world, it like responds. Like the fact that you can pick up and throw cans at guards and then they react.
Yeah.
Like it's video games in the way it's video games developed by people who think like people who play video games.
Yeah.
Like it's fun. It's fun. You can mess with things. There's so many things to mess with. Like what was it? I had heard that the devs reacting to the speedrunners were like, oh, they should do the baby in the case. And then everyone's like, what do they mean, baby in the case? And it's a reference to like like a long time ago, there's just speedrunners who would put this like baby doll in a milk crate and run through the entire game with it. And then that was a speedrun category. And now that they use that as like shorthand of like, hey, will this be a baby in the crate moment where it'll inspire play? And it's just like, you can get mad about Valve for a lot of things. And like, I definitely don't appreciate the skin market. Yeah, but the fact that they use that to give this space to creatives who are constantly like, I would like to do something cool, and I'm just gonna start doing it. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But we'll have this idea. If they had like a server that just has all of their ideas that they've ever worked on, I'm sure if that got like released, like GitHub would just be filled with some of the most nuanced ideas that people could just drag and drop into their video games, and we would just have this flood of beautiful video games.
Yeah, I think on that same train of thought, like when I finished this, to kind of put in a timeline a little bit, when I finished this was I believe it was the day before Vince Sampella from Respawn sadly passed away, and so just because I was thinking about Respawn and all of that stuff, I booted up Titanfall 2 like almost immediately after, which I had played and loved, and it was like Vince is in the No Clip documentary about Half-Life, the first one that they did, where he kind of talks about like their same kind of process of like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like kind of working like almost in like a game jam style. And that's what I liked about Half-Life. And that's why it's like everything can't be a winner, and a little bit where it's like, I don't really like Ravenholm or whatever, or as much as some people do, or like, it's like, it takes like a little idea and it does that idea to like the end of its conclusion, and then it moves on. And I think that that's something that like Titanfall 2 does. And like I wish more games did that, where it's like, like when I was doing Highway 17, I was like, oh, it's like kind of sad that this isn't this. It doesn't feel the same as the fan boat. And I was like, wait a second, this is a game that's like from 2006, 2007 or whatever, that has 2 vehicle sections that feel so different from each other is like really like kind of amazing in and of itself, or like
and
how all that combat
a time where like turret sections or driving sections in like linear games were big, and like so you weren't jaded, and it's still the best example amongst all of those of a good like driving section. From the obvious pick to the least obvious pick, this is the first time ever that I would put a phone game, an Android game.
I wonder what this was. Okay, that's what this is. Sorry.
What
was that?
I don't know. That was spooky as hell.
Was there an alien out there? What was that?
Ooh, that's weird. So my number 2 pick for this year is a phone game called Hoopland, made by a small, I think, single-person development team called Quality Games. It is a basketball game. It's like kind of arcadey. You can make it more simulation-esque, but it never really gets past that like arcadey feel. And I like it. It's really fun to play. And that would be enough for like, sit on the toilet, play a game, you're done, boom, whatever. I have a save file that is almost 50 seasons deep. I had paid for the full version, and it gives you the ability to name and create your characters. I will have plenty of examples on screen. I will send Evan so many.
Oh, I've already got some of them. I was gonna say, you sent me like one day we hadn't talked in a while, and you were like, "Here's just what I've been doing," and you just sent me like pages of these screenshots of players. I was like, "What is this? Like, I don't even know what this game is."
This is my Sims.
Okay.
Like, not my Sims, but Sims for me, where these characters have interactions, but they don't mean anything. They don't like have an after game press conference. They don't talk to each other. They don't have ins and outs with the coach. They don't get mad at you when they get fired. There are like, we're losing and I'm not getting play time or whatever. Yeah. Like, you do have, bars and sliders to worry about. When you get as good at this game as me, and thank God I don't have an hour mark for it, but like, I'm playing on the hardest difficulty, and sometimes the game kicks my ass, which is fun, because then when I lose, I immediately want to play more. It's so cool. The quintessential thing for me though is creating the characters. I have a Hall of Fame that has some of the stupidest named characters ever, because I love making goofy characters. My 2K character lineage, when I play my player, is a family dynasty called the Unbananables. They are all 7-foot centers. They are tall. They have big, dumb bug eyes. And so every time I boot up a 2K, I make an Unbananable. This is that, but I get to name every single character on my team, and then I get to push for what awards they get. I get to, write the story in my head as we play.
I've got kind of 2-ish questions for you. The first one is where the hell did you hear about this from? Because you're not super into mobile games, are you? Or
no, I'm not. I played a lot of Retro Bowl, which is a football simmy game.
Okay,
but that game, even on its hardest difficulty, it plays the same over and over again. So I was looking for that, but basketball, because I've kind of ditched every other sport for basketball.
Okay,
I don't watch football anymore. I don't watch college football anymore. I don't watch hockey. I don't watch anything else but basketball, because I think it lends itself to amazing storylines, and I think that's what pulls me into this game so much, is because I create the storylines in my head. For example, I name one of my favorite players, current Hall of Famer #1, Tony, named after the seminal 90s band Tony, except the fourth Tony is spelled Toeknee. Is a 3-point wizard. Yeah, like toe, like the body part, and knee, like the body part. Again, we'll have footage on screen.
I think I have a picture of Tony.
He starts to retire, or he starts to get ready to retire. Their stats diminish as they get too old. And there was a character that came up in the draft class that I had brought in who had almost his exact stats. And I was like, what if he has a kid? Tony Jr. And so now Tony Jr. is kicking ass, and he retires, and then all the retired players can become coaches. So it's a parent-child on the same team. One's a coach, one's a player, playing for the same team, and it's just this lineage now. There are so many players who have their parents have retired. They're retired now coaching, and then their kid is about to come through, and it's just this the wheel keeps turning. The goofy people keep goofing, and I had a player retire on me out of the blue. Typically they give you some time to let you know, and I won a championship, and then he's gone. He's done. I cried. No joke. I had no warning. One of the best players, excelled without me playing as him. Holds so many stats that I don't think will ever get broken by me, someone who is very good at the game. I sound like a lunatic when I talk about this game.
I don't know what you're talking about. These are all very normal things to say.
I read the subreddit, and no one seems to play it like this, and I would like to do a retrospective of just this save file, and all the weird intricacies of it. And
this is kind of that thing I was talking about with Alpha Protocol a little bit, where it's the children long for D&D RPG storytelling, but for other things. Like that's you know, because that's what, when you're talking about it, I'm like, this sounds like you projecting on like a D&D campaign or something like that, you know. And that's the thing, is like, to be honest, like a lot of sports, and I'm not super into sports, like, but like when I got into like Formula One or IndyCar or even like wrestling, or this year I watched the World Series, it's like the stuff in between is like the important stuff, you know. And so it's like when I go and play a baseball game or whatever, or a wrestling game, it's like, well, that's not really why I'm here. And like the Formula One, like the Codemasters Formula One games have like tried to do more of that, but it's interesting to see you talk about it like that, like wanting that, the meta narrative or whatever.
I think what drew me to basketball was a lot of Secret Base content. If you're not watching Secret Base and you like any kind of sports, John Boyce and all the folks over there make some of the most phenomenal content on, or documentaries. They're documentaries on, like, you know, inter team beefs or player beefs, or you know, very super cool content. And that's, I think, what got me into it. I don't have a favorite team in basketball. I like players. I love player stories. My top 3 players are players that most people don't really talk about. Like Rasheed Wallace, power forward for the Portland Trailblazers, and won his ring in 2004 with the Detroit Pistons over a very stacked Kobe team. And then he retires and is like, hey, I actually don't care about being a celebrity. I'm still here for like Detroit, and I'm helping Flint, which still has bad water, just if you forgot. I don't know. The archetype of what I like in a player is like, I'm good. I'm going to shove it in your face a little bit, and then I'm just going to keep doing that. I don't have like an ego to it, really. Like,
I feel like I made a mistake getting you started on basketball.
Yeah, sorry. It's a problem. Anyway, do you take over? What's your number 1?
Oh man, Dakota, I need to tell you, a man who does not eat pork bun is not a real man. I need you to know that deep down.
A man who never eats pork buns is never a whole man.
My number 1 is Sleeping Dogs, a game that is, when I was playing it, this was the one where I was like, Dakota, why has nobody told me that Sleeping Dogs is just Vin Diesel's Wheelman? It's the same fucking game. It's got the same
flashback hardcore to junior year of college when this was all I was playing.
Yeah, you reviewed
saying,
this.
Wow, this game's really good. Evan, you should play it.
You reviewed this, and this this is one that has been on my list for like a long time to play, because I wanted to do a true crime Hong Kong video. And I kind of realized that like now isn't necessarily the right time to do that. And so I kind of like threw up my hands. I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to play a game that I want to play for an episode later, that I just am interested in playing. And I'm hoping that Beyond Good and Evil is that this year, to be honest with you, like just a game that I've wanted to cover for so long, but just haven't for whatever reason. Because to be honest with Beyond Good and Evil, I don't think the story's done. But this game kind of like broke my brain a little bit. Like it was just kind of an exact cross section of an Evan-ass game. Just like a real, you know, Xbox 360 open world, like we were talking about, for sure. And so I'm glad that it turned into like my number 1 at the end of this, because it kind of is the game that kind of like I enjoy playing. It's got just enough of a crime story to get me involved. It's got combat that has difficulty but isn't like overbearing. That was something I was kind of worried about, where I was kind of worried that I would hit a point where I'm like, well, it's just like, well, shit, I guess I can't, you know, do the combat. I'm not smart enough for the combat, and I'm stuck. I figured that would happen, and it never did. To put it in perspective, like of how much this game kind of got me, it was like while I was doing this, I did 2 very embarrassing things. One, I bought the Jackie Chan Criterion Collection because I wanted to watch those, because I was like, man, I gotta watch some fucking Hong Kong action. And I was also like, I wonder if there's any adult karate classes near me. Which is so embarrassing.
I felt kind of the same way, not with the going to karate classes, but I watched, what was it? Oh, 5 Deadly Venoms.
Okay.
It's I forget. It's like the brothers something. They do a lot of these movies. It's kind of like a long-standing series of kung fu movies. But yeah, no, I get where you're like, this is cool.
You're like, yeah. Because, you know, like a couple years ago, I kind of got into like the Godzilla movies a little bit, and it kind of, you know, feels like the same kind of thing where it's like, this is just a large part of what a certain type of person watches that I just don't watch. Like I don't have any experience with, and that always kind of bugs me a little bit. Like, or not bugs me, but like I'm always interested to see like what it is that makes that tick for them, you know? Yeah, and that's kind of what this is. Like, this felt like a little bit of a gateway into like Hong Kong action, and I actually ended up getting the Criterion channel, which has a bunch of John Woo movies, which I played Stranglehold in yeah, but that's kind of the goal, is to play more. But yeah, that's my number one. I don't know. I think it's just such a cool game.
I think one of the most interesting things about it to me is that it doesn't feel original.
Yes.
It feels so like it's especially for that 360 era, it is so familiar in every single aspect. You take all of the mini games from like, well, really any open world, but it also feels like Yakuza-esque, where it's like you could get really good at the chicken fighting, or you could race,
yeah,
or
the
you could
mini
do all
games
these other
for
things.
sure. Yeah, karaoke mini games and everything.
Yeah, the karaoke minigame's hilarious. Then you have like the open world of GTA, and then you have the combat of the Batman games, and you have the story of like that is so painfully cliche, but like, you know, they don't do it in a way that is like interesting enough where it's like, oh, you could choose one or the other side, and I kind of like that you don't get to do that.
Yeah, I was
linear.
expecting it to be like, okay, well, now you have to start making decisions, and I was like, well, that's a little easy.
That would be making this game too complicated, because what this game is at the end of the day is a very hearty bowl of soup. Like, it will fill you, it will satisfy you, and on the right days, it's exactly what your soul needs. Like, just perfection. A video game.
I talked about this and I texted you and I was like, oh wow, this is Wheelman. But like at the same time, like this is a lot of people from Radical Entertainment, which did like Hulk and Prototype and things like that. And it's actually one of the, oh man, I lost it. The design director for Bully, which I think is a hard thing to unsee. I believe his name. I haven't pulled up.
No, yeah, that's very apt.
Yeah, like where you like, oh, you know, you get a new fighting move when you find a collectible in the world, and you like hold A to run, and like a lot of like the story stuff feels like how it's directed. It very much feels like, yeah, like a kind of a quintessential, better than the sum of its parts. Singularity comes to mind. I talk about like Alpha Protocol, and even like XCOM, the Bureau Declassified a little bit, like being kind of games that are painfully of their time, but like not necessarily in a negative way. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with that, because, you know, this generation has some of my favorite games ever. And so like this is very good at like scratching an itch of games that aren't around. Very spirit of 2011 or so, if you will, 2010, 2008 or whatever. So yeah, I don't know. I'm really, really glad that I played it this year.
My number one is Balatro. I feel like I don't need to talk about this game. Look at me. Obviously, I like Balatro. 172 hours of my year this year have been Balatro. Somehow, after 172 hours, I still can't get enough of the soundtrack. It's the same song.
Oh, it's so good.
For 172 hours. My brain looks at those cards and just go. It's like when people play like chess in their head. I'll throw up like a set of cards and some random jokers in my head, and like when I'm bored, I'll just be like, okay, well, I think I would try and shape my build like this. I'd get rid of this joker. I'd do this. I'd like, queen to e5. I don't know what that means. I don't know where that goes. But you say, oh, you have you've got these cards and these jokers. Oh, I'll make you a build. We'll hope for the best this way. I will be playing this game till the day I die or get the platinum, and then I will boot it up on my PS4 and do that trophy list as well, because, God, this game has everything that I like and more. It's so infinitely replayable. Yeah, no, it's just fantastic. I don't really have much more to say that hasn't already been said.
Dakota, I have a very important question for you.
Yeah.
Have you ever just considered getting really into gambling?
See, now here's the thing. We've been playing Red Dead 2 to try and get 100% on that for the platinum, my wife and I, and because that's a game that we play that we're like I'm pretty good at video games, and my wife is also pretty good at video games, but we're good at different games.
Yeah.
And her ability in that game versus my ability in that game are two different sides of a coin. And so we play it together really well, which is super fun. And I love it to pieces. But we tried to do some of the blackjack or some of the poker stuff. And I'm like, oh yeah, I have like 4 more discards. I'm good. It's not poker. It's simply like when you play Balatro, you fundamentally kind of lose your ability to play poker because you're like, oh, okay, well, I have these safeguards. You play, it's the same game, just played in a completely different way. The thing that I think is funny is there's a challenge run where you're given the specificities of a typical blackjack game. Like your hand is only like 5 cards or whatever, and like you're limited in so many different ways that it's really cool. If you haven't played Balatro, what are you doing? That's all I'm saying.
I'm very scared it'll ruin my productivity. That's to be honest. That's it. That's just it. It's
you're not into roguelites, you'll get wrecked. This will kill
that's
you.
the thing is, I am
Don't
into
get it
gambling.
on your phone.
I am into gambling. And that's
Oh
the
yeah,
thing.
this was Evan's year for sports betting.
Yeah, no, God, no. Oh my God. Don't get me started.
How many frantic 2 a.m. texts of God dang it, my parlay didn't win.
Yeah, I don't no.
I've been watching Swedish ping pong and it's not been paying off. These guys from the mafia keep asking you how my knees are doing.
Yeah. Betting on cockfighting, like in Sleeping
There
Dogs.
you go. Yeah. It's hitting that itch for you.
Yeah. No, but yeah, I'm always just terrified that it'll ruin my productivity. But one day, this is big on like those, like, this is depressing to say, but like a nursing home game a little bit, where you're like, when I don't have any work to do, maybe I'll get around to it. As this award show has gotten like increasingly elaborate, and we've just kind of used it as a way to look back at our year. We're two people who we used to live together, and now we don't. We live in separate states, and so we don't talk as much as we should, and so it's just kind of nice.
The divorce was hard.
Yeah. Well, really, yeah. It sounds like we broke
very,
up.
very cordial still.
Yeah. I'm still paying you all that damn alimony.
Shouldn't have had 8 kids with me.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, and so we just kind of use it as an excuse, but we also use it as a way to look forward. And last year that kind of turned into a bit of like an award show almost. I half jokingly called it the Luckies, which I think is an awful name. But yeah, anyway, so we're here looking right here at the start of 2026, looking at the year forward. I think the obvious one that we can talk about for the second year in a row is, of course, Dakota, are you still looking forward to Grand Theft Auto 6?
Sure.
Yeah. We talked about this a lot last year. I was convinced. Kind of ruined my day. I'm not gonna lie to you a little bit. Obviously, there's all of the stuff going on with Rockstar unions. And
that's what killed it for me.
Yeah,
honestly.
I was gonna say. Yeah, you were like,
I was like,
man.
I don't care. I will buy it. I will wait for it to go on sale. But man, this union busting stuff sucks ass so much.
I hope it offers a legal precedent to make it easier for companies like this to unionize, because, like, again, this has been an increasing problem at Rockstar. It's a problem everywhere, but it is especially, unless you're Team Cherry, it's especially a problem at Rockstar, and I had hoped that they had changed, and it's obvious that they haven't. It's increasingly elaborate that of how they're trying to justify these layoffs and stuff. If people don't know, Rockstar laid off some people who were talking in a Discord channel about unionizing, and Rockstar fired them for saying that they were leaking information, which is absurd. It's absurd. But yeah. Anyways, is there anything else from 2026 that you're looking forward to?
Okay, so they say Fable's for the new Fable's coming out.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Them. Yeah,
I don't believe it.
See, so, okay, the difference between Evan's excitement for GTA 6 and other like big IPs like this is I don't get hyped for it. Like, if it comes out, sure. Like, once those, like, hey, it's coming. Once that comes out, I'll be like, oh, cool. But I don't let that, like, get me actually excited. And so when devastating news comes, I just kind of go, yeah, of course, duh.
Oh, man.
So Fable 4, never coming out. Let's be real.
Yeah.
But also, we got Fable 4 already. If you didn't play the Xbox Connect one, that has real lore implications. Look it up.
Yeah. That's again, another company that we could go on for hours about how genuinely fucking evil Microsoft has become. Enough for me to go, you know what? I think it's time to pull the plug on Game Pass at the very least.
You should just come back to another evil corporation with Sony. They're not
right.
as
I know. Well,
evil.
that's the thing is, I think that when we talk about 2026 and what I'm looking forward to, I think 007 First Light is obvious. It's huge. I'm gonna do a Bond video. It's gonna be maybe the last Bond video that I get an opportunity to do, barring anything else, just based on what I do at Luxstat. But also the Steam machine is like the thing that I'm like, there we go. There's like that thing where I was like, I kind of want a Steam Deck, but I don't really. I want something that's a little bit more powerful, to something that's a little bit more comfortable with emulation. We talk about how much we liked Valve, and I think that may or may not come with Half-Life 3. I don't think it's an impossibility. They kind of did that with the Index with Alex, I think is what it was, but I could be wrong. It seems like the right time, but yeah, sorry, you were talking about Fable 4. Also very excited for it.
You know what? Let's tack on some other ones that we're definitely never going to see ever. Judas, BioShock 4. Those aren't ever coming. Would I like them to? Yeah, that'd
Judas
be sick.
is fascinating. Man,
there's your tease for your next video. 20 years down the line.
Yeah, if Judas and
so
BioShock 4 will be sorry, go ahead.
To everyone who watches Evan's stuff, if Evan makes a Judas video, somehow Ken Levine will see it, go, actually, and then he'll like get it done. Yeah, just to spite Evan.
Or there'll be people in my comments going, wow, this sure is very similar to Jason Schreier's new book. And I'll be like, son of a bitch, I did all this extra research, but okay. No, I think that Judas has got to come like soon, right? Like,
never.
I don't know.
We're not getting that game.
Yeah, I think that the thing with Ken Levine was where people were talking about when they showed off BioShock Infinite at whatever E3 or whatever for the first time, and everyone at the studio went, "Oh, thank God, he can't change the setting again. We're stuck with this." And I was like, "Oh boy." But yeah, Judas is previewed a couple times now.
Yeah,
it looks good. Yeah, and I think to be honest, I think it's more of a U game than a me game, because it's got a lot of it looks like it's got a lot of roguelike elements.
Ken Levine just knows how to push my fucking buttons in
true.
All the best and worst ways.
Yeah.
I want to like the guy. I really do. I bet, honestly, honest to goodness, I'm too much of a golden retriever. If you talk to me politely for more than 5 minutes, I'm going to be your best friend type deal. If I talk to Ken Levine and he wasn't this incredulous asshole and I don't have to work for him, I'd probably be like, hey, he's pretty cool.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'd be like, holy shit, it's Ken Levine.
I kind of wonder if, because from reports of how he acts and like whatever, when he comes up with new ideas, he just kind of shows up in a room and goes, hey guys, I got a good idea, let's do this. And then they're like, okay, Ken, we'll write that on the board, honey. Yeah. Can you go do something else now? Like, that sounds like some shit I would do. No joke. I feel like I would walk into a boardroom and be like, hey guys, okay, hold on.
Yeah, as somebody who's made stuff with you for 10 years, I would agree.
Yeah, I have done enough self-respect or introspection to like get rid of that, and I think if Ken does the same thing, we might actually get to see Judas, but I don't think he will.
Yeah, so that's the thing is so Judas, I think was supposed to come out this year, but I could be wrong. And then BioShock 4 got internally rebooted a couple months ago. And that was the thing. It was like happening as I was making the XCOM video. So like I'm like at the end of the XCOM video, which some people watch, not everybody watched. More people watched it than they'll watch this, but maybe it won't be the same people. So watch the XCOM video. I'm really proud of it. I've wanted to do that video for years. I wanted to do that video since I started the channel. That was like
I'm looking for a copy of Declassified now just to play it.
But it was like, oh, hey, look, like this guy's back at what is essentially Irrational now, and it was like, I don't know, it was. Irrational and Ken Levine were like a studio that I think that they were surprised by their own success almost. And I think that they kind of, because it was like they were making weird games and then they like turned around and there was like, well, it's time to make, and it was suddenly like there was money involved. It's like that Todd McFarlane thing where he was like, I took Spider-Man when nobody gave a shit about Spider-Man. And it was like, and I turned it into something that people cared about. And then it was like, well, people care about it. So you can't do that, Todd. And it was like, that was kind of what it feels like a little bit, where it's like, well, what do you mean I can't do this, exactly what I want? The studio there are faces that I don't recognize anymore at my studio. Like, that's weird to me, is something that Ken would said in Press Reset,
It sounds to me, and again, we don't know Ken. Ken, if you're watching, come on the show. Come out next year.
Come on the show.
We'll get why not?
I want to hear you.
This podcast that 100 people watch every year,
and it comes out once a year,
pretty consistently. Feels like the phrase in tech of move fast, break things, which the people who say that don't know what it means. It feels like a lot of those early CRPG folks were like, hey, I have this crazy idea. Let's do a code sprint, see what it does. And it feels like BioShock got to do that to a certain extent and then had to have the edges sanded off so that it could get shipped in time. And then BioShock 2 was sort of like, hey, okay, well, like the Yakuza thing, where it's like you have the
base,
you have the base. Now let's just build a narrative on top of that, and they did it excellently. And I think that's why BioShock 2 is objectively one of the most, one of the best stories. And I think that's why, giving Ken the kind of free reign now with this like almost god status in the industry where no one can question him. BioShock Infinite doesn't work because you don't push back. Like, you have to be able to push back. Like, there is no true, like, you can't let an auteur just go. It's especially not in an industry that requires so much like teamwork, and collaboration. Like, and you have to accept that you need to listen to other people who know way more than you. Why did you hire a team if you didn't trust them? Yeah. And so when you have this like, uber figure in the director's seat after like so many successes, it's like, oh, you can't question Ken. He came in, he wrote a big eggplant on the board and left, and now I have to decipher what that means and how to implement it. It's like,
yeah, and I think that he's definitely he's somebody who like kind of almost comes from, again, it's like I haven't finished it, but like Press Reset, like you're talking about like Warren Spector and people like that who kind of come from a different generation of game designing. I think that Ken Levine in particular is like, it's hard to like make this distinction about like computer game, like feels very like 1999, like where games were kind of getting big, but they were very segmented. And so you have like Interplay, I feel like is like a computer game, and like Ken feels like the last of like a computer game auteur kind of guy, like a Sid Meier, versus like nowadays like a Neil Druckmann or somebody like that, who's like very much like a storyteller, and so it feels like we're projecting, or not projecting, but putting words in his mouth, but like it feels like he was frustrated by the systems of how games were being developed at that time. It's the same thing that you kind of saw with this, like speaking of Fable, like you saw with Molyneux, where Peter it was Molyneux. Like they were very much, what is that studio? Lionhead? Bullfrog. Lionhead. They were very much,
and Lionhead.
Yeah. Lionhead specifically were like, they were very much like a weird computer game studio that happened to be like end up in this position where they acquired a company who was making Fable, and now they're the Fable studio. They make console games. And it was like, well, they did the movies in black and white or whatever before. Like, they were a weird computer game studio that was forced to be a console game. And maybe we're talking out of our butts or whatever, but like, it feels
again,
like,
we don't know these people.
Yeah, it feels like,
Peter, if you want to come on the show, you really don't have to try too hard.
Yeah, you're a big Molyneux
Listen,
head.
the guy, he likes video games. He seemed very
likes the
passionate
magic.
in
You
the
know what I
hours
mean?
and hours and hours of press footage I've watched of him.
Yeah, you know the guy, like in like Tingle a little bit, where it's like I picture Molyneux like walking in a room and being like poof and like having confetti in his pockets and being like, you know what are cool video games? Like I believe in the magic of video games. He talks about.
I want to watch more documentaries on like the making of. But what I kind of get, and I'm sure he was, every boss is an asshole at some point.
Oh, yeah, especially
the
in video games.
collaborative process is, difficult inherently. But I can't imagine him not going around the studio on a random day, looking over someone's shoulder and going, "What are you doing? I don't know what that is." "Oh, well, it's this system that lets you do this." And he goes, "That's really cool. Oh my gosh, that's so cool." And then he like focuses on it a little too much, and then he like puts a little bit too much pressure on it, and then he talks about it to like at some studio, and like then that designer's like, "Wait, I have to make trees grow in real time? What the fuck?"
Yeah, exactly. That's literally what I was talking about. Yeah, yeah.
Like,
yeah, that's the most like that. There is I think it is maybe one of the best articles written about a studio is Eurogamer's article on Lionhead, where he talks about where someone's like, "And you know what? This acorn will grow into a tree." And I'm like, you got to be a fucking crazy person to think that that's how video games. And it's like, and that's the thing is like, he's a flim flam man. He believes in this. He's a snake oil salesman. He's Nigel West Dickens. There we go. I pulled the name.
I think what separates him typically from like your Randy Pitchfords or your other like semi snake oil salesmen is
Pitchford ships
at
games.
no that too. But like he seems excited. Like it feels like he doesn't play his own games, but he's really excited about them in a way where like I feel like I don't see anyone else getting excited about their games. Like I don't know. Like with Nintendo, you see like any number of the heads get on on the stage and play Wii music, and it's like, oh, this is fun. But like that doesn't feel like super genuine. Whereas Molyneux just can't, like the fact that he can't shut his mouth and every word out of it is so excitable, like just makes me feel like, is he lying?
You
or
like
is
to be
he
worked
just
a little
like,
bit. Like, yeah.
Talking about something that's in like the prototype phase and might get left on the cutting room floor. And I feel like so much of the Fable development cycle is that issue. You can say a lot about his other like ventures and not working out, and like that's not true for those ventures, but for Fable specifically, I just feel like he probably was a little overexcited.
Yeah, I think that. So I think that there's two things in there that I really want to say. Well, like I think that Nintendo, there's that quote. The first time I heard it, I teared up a little bit. Not gonna lie, it's that Iwata quote about how he was like, on my business card, on my door it says I'm the president. On my business card it says I'm whatever, but in my heart I'm a gamer. And it's like it's kind of that great little thing, but also I think at the same time, a lot of times you see in video games, especially. And there's this Captain Christian quote, which I think he's borrowing from Alan Moore, but I could be wrong, who wrote Watchmen, where it's like, if comics try to be movies, all they'll ever be is movies that don't move. And it's like I think about that a lot with video games, and I think a lot like Alpha Protocol is a great example of a game that it's like if a movie would cut all this crap out. Just like me sneaking around a little bit, like a lot of people who we talk about, like our video game people, sometimes, Druckmann is a great example of somebody who feels like a movie guy, Neil Druckmann, who did The Last of Us and stuff. He feels like a movie guy. He wants to be a movie guy, and it's like Kojima wants to be a movie guy in a lot of ways, and that's fine.
Kojima doesn't have anything he wants to. He just does it.
Well, right. But like, I think that's, you don't get Guillermo del Toro and Refn and George Miller and all those people because you're, and that's fine. And that's its own thing. But I think that it's interesting to hear you talk about like Molyneux it feels enthusiastic about, games.
Video games that he's never gonna play.
Yeah, he doesn't know how they work. It doesn't.
Dude, I don't think he plays video games. I think he just thinks they're neat.
Yeah, yeah,
which
again,
is probably why I like them so much.
Yeah, and you feel that way with a lot of like. I watched the video of Gabe hand delivering Steam Decks, and it's like, it's kind of the same thing. Again, maybe we're getting worked by a company, but
I've been doing a lot of research about Jim Henson lately, and like his desire to both make the art and run the business is one of those things that is so integral to his success. Like his control over like the taste and tact of what the Muppets and anything that he works on represents allows for him to have this like full creative control. But also, since he's controlling the business side, he has to keep the lights on. Mm-hmm. And the way that he makes his art is with his friends, trying to make them laugh, trying to, have fun and create fun through having it. Yeah. And so like to keep the lights on and to do that is such a monumental task that, I feel like more and more is so lost. Like I feel like so many of these big directors have to juggle the monetary side of video games more than they have the fun side, where it's like, if you're making a video game, you should have as much time playing video games as you are making one. You need to be inspired.
I think there's an argument to be made. Like, I guess I can understand like the snake eating its own tail a little bit. Like, when I'm making a video or I'm making something, like I don't look to other YouTube videos typically. I look to movies or I look to games and things like that. But yeah, I think that when you talk about like the business management, and that's something where there's this interview. God, I feel like I'm referencing a lot of interviews. There's this interview with Brian Raffel of Raven Software, where he kind of talks about like the reason why they sold out to Activision was so that the lights were on.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. And that's the thing with like Obsidian is a great example of that. And I know I kind of bemoaned where Obsidian's at right now. And I'm not saying that their starving artist era or whatever you want to call it is made them better now than they are now. Like them having to be scrappy or whatever. Like I want people to not be at risk of being laid off. Like I want them to be comfortable to make things, but like, that's a big reason why is that people, get bought up by bigger companies is because it's, especially in games, especially when you're building the plane while it's in flight, which is how you make video games, is because they need to, they need that money. They need that safety or whatever from, I kind of lost my train of thought at the end of there, but it's like they need the money and the safety to make sure that they can continue to do those things. And but Jesus, what were we talking about?
Fable 4.
Okay, so you got anything else from 2026 that you want to talk about?
I think there's a new Fire Emblem game coming out. New Coffee Talk game.
Yeah, that was supposed to come out this year, I think. I could be wrong.
No, it's still scheduled for next year.
Yeah, so a category we did last year was kind of like a non-gaming thing that defined our year. And maybe it was an album, maybe it was a song, maybe it was a movie. Mine specifically was Superman, the new one came out. I kind of beat around the bush about it a little bit, but I had a kind of tough year.
Well, I mean, with all the alimony payments to your 8 children, it's, obviously it's going to be a hard year.
Obviously it's going to be a hard year. Yeah. No, sadly, we had a loss in my family about a week before Superman came out. Extended illness, things like that. It's fine. But it was something where it was like, I kind of was like holding on. I was like, I gotta, at least I'll be able to go in a movie, air-conditioned movie theater and have a summer movie experience. I was very excited for it, very looking forward to it. It is the first time I have them right here. It's the first time I have bought an action figure for a movie before the movie has come out since I think Revenge of the Sith. Maybe I bought the Superman guy. I have him, and then I have right here on my desk. I also have Pattinson's Batman. I am not a merge bro, but deep down, it would be great. But yeah, and that kind of folded into just kind of because I don't really collect games anymore because I find them to be too expensive a lot of the times, unless you're buying $2 game show games or whatever the fuck Dakota's buying. whatever I get a text message picture of, look what I got. I'm like, I've never heard of that in my life. That's great.
What do you mean, 2024 advent calendar? The fuck?
But yeah, so it kind of turned into me kind of getting back into comics specifically, and specifically collecting comics in a way that I hadn't since I was a kid, which when I was a kid, it was always, what's $1? I'll take it. And to this day, it's still kind of, what's $1? I'll take it. You know, Half Price Books has them for $2. You know, go to a big swap meet and pick up old Marv Wolfman Teen Titans, George Perez Teen Titans, which is what I've been really digging through. Doing something without like the stakes or like the I don't want to bemoan Pokemon card collectors by any means, but I think that which you are one of, and a close friend of ours is as well. But and it's a couple actually. I mean, everybody's into it now. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's like I wanted to just kind of like have something that felt easy to collect that I could also like open and use and read, and like I kind of viewed it as like, because I have the digital comics as well, so I kind of viewed it as like collecting vinyl versions of what I've read what I've listened to on Spotify, like kind of in the same way. So like I read Gotham Central, which is incredible, and so I was like, okay, well I'll keep an eye out for Gotham Central #1, and I ended up getting it, which is things like that, which it has been easy. And I was typically a Marvel person before when I was a kid, when I was collecting, or at least I would have called myself that. I really deep diving into DC for the first time, which has been cool. Yeah.
I think the only ones that I've bought this year in terms of comics, I bought Arcacia, I don't know, does a lot of Henson Productions as comics. So I got like a 4 run of Fraggle Rock. I'm trying to collect all the Dante's Inferno, the video game comics.
Ooh.
I'm missing 2, and then I'm missing 2 of the Alien 3 unreleased William Gibson screenplay comics. I might just cave and get those online.
I gotta tell you,
I've got hookups looking for me.
I want to tell you. So we do this once a year, and every once in a while I go, it'd be nice to just like have a podcast with Dakota, and it was like, I understand like the timeline is so bad. I always picture it like kind of doing something that's related to a video that I'm releasing. As the Crucible video was coming out, I was like so badly, because I watched Alien 3 for the first time in a really long time, and it was the whatever, the assembly cut or whatever it is for the first time, and I was like, man, like it'd be really cool to just sit down with all of the versions of Alien 3 and go through them in a podcast. But yeah, it's because you like
don't threaten me with a good time.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because you're is it William Gibson who wrote that?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Which you like Neuromancer a lot. Yeah.
I like his style. I like that cassette futurism.
Yeah. Actually,
I like I said before, I also read the Anthem comics. Those weren't great.
Yeah.
But I have all 3 of them.
I think the present at your wedding that you gave to me was a big anthology of the Mass Effect comics.
Oh yeah,
here. It's huge. I still haven't read it, but yeah, because I really got into Mass Effect last year. That was
it's a great
like,
thing
here
about
you go. I
got to
give you all your stuff.
Shops.
Yeah, and I'm like, it's your wedding. What about you? You got something? You got
a like Evan said, I just got really into Pokemon cards. These are the ones I haven't put in the box. You can't really see that. Anyway, I'm trying to complete the decks for just Gen 1 through 3. That's surprisingly hard. That's not as interesting because I don't buy the expensive ones. I did buy a promo N64 what is it, Pokemon Snap card. Yeah. Spent a little too much money on that, but
that's a cool one.
It really is. But alongside that, Midnight Cowboy with Jon Voight and Dustin Hoffman was a movie I watched this year that hit me like a freight train to the chest. I just like at the climax of that movie, I cried so hard, and I started to giggle while I was crying because it's been a while since a movie hit me like that. that feeling, like you watch so many movies, you essentially go to film school, so it's like nothing really surprises you anymore. But when it does, when like performances are so good, when like everything about the movie just clicks, and like it hits that spot where it's like, hey, this is something you're also afraid of, that the character's going through right now. Here's catharsis. Here's the answer. It's not your answer, but it's an answer. And it takes away a little bit of that fear. My wife was sitting next to me, and all I could think of was like how beautiful the movie was, how awesome it was to feel, alive watching a movie. And then, hey, maybe I should stop crying and laughing so much because I'm probably scaring my wife.
Yeah.
It's the kind of movie where I looked over at her, tears and snot dripping down my face, and going, I carry your ass to Florida too. I'm getting teared up just thinking about it. But it's that movie's really made me consider a lot of different career paths for myself that I think would be better for the community, and better for my want to do things for the community. I
like a movie. I like when a movie does that. I like it. That's the thing I really, really believe in with it. My big ugly, horrendous, like I need to go into the other room cry was actually I got the 4K Blu-ray of it, and it was partially because of the family loss that we had this year, but it was No Country for Old Men had me. Oh my God, it had been a long time, and but it was like, I was like, holy, I kind of knew, I even knew it was coming. I'd seen it before, and I was just like, oh my God.
Tommy Lee Jones' performance in that at the very end is so quiet.
Yes.
In like a deafening way.
Yes.
Yeah. That's a good one. I would say what was the last movie to hit me in the chest like that, again, obviously, was I saw The TV Glow.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I was in the theater with like 2 people, and I was like, fuck it, I don't care. And I heard them crying too. So that was, when you hit those like pieces of media that are just like, woof. Hey, thanks. I needed to hear something, and you just told it to me in like the coolest way possible. Like, I don't know.
Oh yeah, the end of the second time I saw Superman I was doing particularly worse, and it was like, oh no, because the end of that movie is hits hard.
Okay,
I do
want to see it. It does look cool.
I do think you would like it, but
I've seen so many clips on YouTube Shorts about it.
James Gunn, somebody who's had a complicated relationship with father figures, and I was feeling some of that, and so yeah, it was in it, but it was very much like a. In the end, you've got the good memories, and I was like, holy fuck, oh no. But anyways,
I think the other thing that hit me real hard this year was Sylvia Plath's The Bell Jar.
Yeah, you were gonna, yeah.
We
were gonna name this category the shit that fucked us up category.
I was listening to this book, and someone had recommended it to me because Maggie Gyllenhaal reads it, and I like Maggie Gyllenhaal, and I was like, okay, well, maybe I'll listen to it, and then like I'll pick it up physically, and then I'll start reading it. And Maggie does such a fantastic job reading the book, and Sylvia Plath is like, God, don't do it. If you haven't read this book, if you don't know about Sylvia Plath, do not Google her. Just read the book, then Google her, and then the book gets so much scarier.
Yeah.
One of the single-handedly like the best writers I've ever read. I love her poetry. I loved her poetry before this, but like, ooh, I was nervous at the beginning of the book because it sounded a little like Lena Dunham stuff. The like, oh, I'm sad and I'm out of college and I'm rich though, so like I'm just trying to find my way in life. And it's like, shut the fuck up. I'm out of college. I'm broke as shit. I'm also in the same boat. Shut up. Just no.
Yeah.
But like she does it in such a way where it's like, okay, yeah, shut up, rich kid. And then you're like, oh, wait, no, keep talking. Sorry, keep talking. No. And then like at the end of the book, you're like, I think she's okay. I don't know. The line in that one to close off the sad one-liners is, what is it? everything looks scarier when you're inside the bell jar, and the way that she leads into that. Well, so a bell jar is like a container that is kind of like convex.
Okay.
Yeah,
like
convex
like
at the top.
Okay.
So
okay.
it warps your perspective. But when someone removes it, you finally get to see that it wasn't as scary as you thought. Is she in the bell jar? Is she not in the bell jar? You know, that kind of horrifying realization. And again, when you look at her life as in a whole, you're like, this was very autobiographical, whether she knew that or not, or whether she intended on it or not.
Yeah.
And it's I think that's probably one of my favorite books. I was playing House Flipper while I was listening to it, and now House Flipper has this weird aura about it where it's a little spooky.
Of like, ooh, yeah.
Yeah. My 2-story duplex looks amazing, though.
So as we kind of wrap up here a little bit, we kind of want to talk about like what we're wanting to play like going forward. Dakota, you're maybe a bigger believer in the backlog than I am. It makes me uncomfortable. I think of it as a collection, and I also just I do so much and play so much of like 2 hours of a bunch of games, so it's kind of hard for me to like keep track of a backlog a little bit. But you got anything that you're wanting to play next year that's not necessarily coming out?
So I would say I frame my backlog and like my library as like I might want to play this at some point. You know, you buy like the Lego Movie video game, and for some reason you're like, I would like to play a Lego game, and you play it and you're like, wow, the Lego Movie's really good. The game's fine, but it's like for when my head it wants something new. But this year I really want to like get through the classics that I keep telling myself I'm gonna get to, the classics that I'm like, I will like this, I just need to do it. So like finishing Death Stranding, because I started it and was like, I could see myself enjoying this.
I think I sent you that for Christmas one year, because I was like, I love it. Yeah.
I have at the end of the first third of Ghost of Tsushima. I have been really enjoying that. Finally beating Ico and Shadow of the Colossus, because I've started Shadow of the Colossus twice on 2 different consoles. Far Cry 1 and 2. I would like to actually. Yeah, I haven't played 2. I've played everything else. And it'd be nice to like.
I forgot that you had played. You've played all of them. Yeah. You play them like I play Assassin's Creed. I forgot. Yeah,
I have played the co-op campaign for Far Cry 3 that now you no longer can play. So like, if I like this franchise, I should probably play like what is considered one of the best entries.
2 is and like fascinating. That's really the only way to say it. It's such a cool feeling game. It feels like I play and I'm like, there's a hell of like an extraction shooter or like a Sea of Thieves kind of feeling to it, where it's like everything, as soon as you're out of comfort, you gotta be on, you gotta be like locked in, you know, which I think is really cool.
I think the other big one is Arkham City. I beat Arkham Asylum this year.
Yeah, you played Asylum.
That game kicks ass.
Oh my god,
that's so cool.
Such a cool game. I replayed those 2 or 3 years ago, maybe 2 years ago. Oh man, I love Asylum. I love City too. City, I would have called City one of my favorites for a long time.
What I feel like, and I feel like a lot of other people have also told me, is Arkham Asylum and City are aliens, where it's like you like it for different things. The sequel is always more than the first, but the first is a very contained adventure.
Yeah.
I will say I did kind of ruin the experience for myself playing on hard. That Bane fight is just so tedious and like one-noted, and then I found out that you can just cheese it, and I was like, oh, this stinks.
Yeah, the last fight wasn't fun. No, that I'm thinking of
the last fight's
I'm
fine.
thinking of the City. Never mind. I'm thinking of the Joker fight late in that one.
But I'm waiting to get that on PS4. I have it on PS3 because I got it for like $1. But the DLC, I don't want to buy it on PSN, so I'm just gonna wait for the 3 collection, and then I get Night with it too. So
yeah, the DLC is not bad.
Yeah, and then I have Origins, and then I have Blackgate as well.
What do you have Blackgate?
Round all those Vita.
Oh, don't skip the Nightwing DLC. I don't know. I'm a big.
I'll play it all.
I'm a big, the best ass in DCU. I'm a big Nightwing fan. So yeah, but I like a lot of the Bat Family, like kind of extended stuff that they do in those. But yeah, I don't skip Origins either. I know you're somebody.
Yeah.
I don't have to say this to you, because you're a. I'm trying to find a better word other than a bit of a psychopath, where you will play things in order. You will, like, no matter what, like, because I tried.
Origins is a prequel, so I should have played it first.
Right, yeah. You'll either, because
But that's also not a Rocksteady game, so I'm fine with putting it at the end.
Yeah, I would play it before Night, which is
Night's gonna be pretty far in the backlog.
I've never even finished. I haven't even finished Night, to be honest with you.
I'm most excited about the first two. I'll get to Blackgate just because it's on the Vita, and like everyone's like, it's disjointed. You don't need to worry about it. Plus, I'm not a huge Batman fan, so it's like when they're like, oh look, it's the titty twister. Look at him. Isn't it cool? You found his log and then his bedroom with nipples on the wall. Like, dude, I don't know. Why do I care about this? Or they use like a character's real name and you're like,
okay. Origins is that bad.
Oh, dude, they hinted at Dirt Guy.
Yeah.
He throws dirt everywhere. Isn't he cool?
Yeah.
Literally.
He comes up, and all of his goons are covered in dirt. And they're like, hey, it's the Bat.
Don't get him confused with Mudman. That's Superman's nemesis. Like, fuck. I don't.
My backlog, part of the reason why I played Half-Life 2 like super quickly was because I thought I was gonna finish Yakuza Like a Dragon. Yeah, so I'm working on a Yakuza Like a Dragon video right now that will hopefully not be out by the time that this comes out. And I mean that game's incredible, but I thought that I would have it done by now, and I'm like 33-ish hours into it. It's great, and I'd like to play a couple more. I might play through Judgment or something because I've only really played Zero and quite a bit of Kiwami. Like multiple times, and it's a series I'd like to get back to. Same place that you're coming from, where I want to kind of get back to those games. There's no time like the present to play the games that I have wanted to play for years. I've told myself that maybe someday I'll play, finish up Final Fantasy X or something like that, or Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door, which I played some of this year as well. Or Earthbound and.
I'm halfway through that, and all I have to do is get my Switch Online back up.
Yeah.
I can finish Earthbound.
Yeah, because I've. Don't tell anybody. Hold on. This is what I bought in Japan.
Way.
This is what I bought in Japan.
Oh, okay.
It's Mother 3. It's not Earthbound. Yeah. Because you have. And it's one of those things where it's like it's one of those things where you talk about it, but you've never actually played it. Yeah, you have your beautiful. You got that before that went up. Oh, sorry. You got that.
You want to one up? Yeah,
because you got that.
It's like $350 now. I paid $150.
Yeah, I was gonna say you got a pretty damn good deal on that, and I remember it was like wow when I met you.
To be fair, this was
2013. It was before I met you.
2012, because I was in high school, and it's the reason I ended up getting a job like in high school, because I had to pay my mom back. The mom fee, it's gonna break your kneecaps and make you pay 2 percentage points every day you're late, like that kind of thing.
Yeah, and that's one. Yeah, it's like kind of a bit of a, like like when I have time, I'll sink into it. I fiddled. I'm not gonna lie to you. I fiddled with a Mother video this year. I don't know if it'll happen.
I feel like a Nintendo video will do good for you.
Dinosaur Planet did, and that was kind of my thought process. Was I thought about maybe doing Star Fox 2, which may or may not happen. That would be a small one because it got canceled, and then they made 64, and then they ended up re-releasing it. It's a rare case of a canceled game actually getting released, which I think is fascinating. But yeah, just kind of making sure, because I'm being a little bit more maybe not giving myself a lot of pressure, but like making sure that I'm playing games that I'm in case people have been here for multiple years. They may notice that this year I didn't play an Assassin's Creed all the way through on my list, or at least it wasn't in my top 5. I know this is the first year in 2 years because
no,
I think in 2020.
Have you played the DS game, Evan? Come on,
I have
fan.
Bloodlines up here too. In the PSP one, because one day I want to do a Assassin's Creed spin-offs video, which I think will be interesting.
Be good.
Yeah, because there's a lot of weird ones. Yeah, part of that was just feeling like I had less time for games and replaying a lot of stuff instead. But like that, it's something where kind of making sure that I am playing stuff that I want to play. Like maybe I'll play, like we talked about playing the Tomb Raider reboot, like playing those other 2 that I've never played would be nice. Or I started Resident Evil 2. A lot of this feels like games that I started and then went, okay, I gotta work on some stuff, and then ended up not. So I'm trying to be better about taking breaks, and being mindful of like what I'm doing, but also like making sure that I'm not just playing games for this. Like not just.
I feel like every time we talk about this, where you're like, gosh, I just haven't played anything. I'm like, yeah, it's that thing of like, if you're a YouTuber who talks about video games, the one thing you don't do is play video games. Like you just don't have time for it.
Yeah.
And like most of what you do is like outside of video game research. And or playing builds of a game that like doesn't really exist,
or
which
like,
is like
playing 2 hours of something.
Yeah, I feel like playing the like beta build of Dinosaur Planet isn't playing a video game. That is archaeology.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like that is you're.
How do I get it to
not
run?
as invested? Yeah, you're doing so many different things that aren't typically video game things.
Yeah, and I think that we kind of
it's a different adventure entirely.
Yeah, playing a game for a video, and maybe people will disagree, but it's a different muscle a little bit. And I think that the thing is, and this is the 6th year, I believe. I think we started this at the beginning of 2020. And so part of it is like we've kind of like a couple of years, last year in particular, it was like, do we still want to do this? Because it was like you weren't really doing 11-17. And I was doing it here, and I didn't really have a place to do it. We kind of had to like rebuild the infrastructure to like figure out how to do it and how Luckstat would do it versus how we'd done it in the past. But it was something where, everything is kind of a game for a video a little bit. So like when I played Sleeping Dogs, even though I played that solely for myself, it's like part of me is like thinking in my head, like, where's this going to go on my list? And there is one game that I didn't talk about that was the worst about this, which was fucking Avowed, which I loved for like 12 hours. And then it went on for like another 10. And I was like, I'm like, so it was like sunk cost fallacy, the game a little bit, where it was like, I'm like, I got to see the end of this. And I was like, Jesus Christ, there's a whole nother level here that I didn't know about. And that was the thing. It was like, it was a whole thing where it was like, if people gave a shit about that game, like it would be a video just because of, like out of spite almost, because it did get cut apart really bad. It's really obvious that it was a live service game that they cut apart. It's very movement-y, it has a like colored loot and things like that, but it's and horrendous crafting in it that I think is the worst part because it affects the difficulty curve too much. But anyways, whole other conversation. But yeah, just kind of being a little bit more mindful that video games is a hobby that I enjoy doing and keeping up at it. When I want to. Yeah.
All right, well, tune in, folks, next year when we complain about significantly less games and cry more on camera.
Thanks
for watching.
I mean, I can do a. If you want, I can do a wrap up if you'd like.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to Cocomelon.
I don't even know.
That's your primary audience is people who watch sensory videos.
I had somebody go, man, I can't believe you leveled this video like shit. It was so hard to sleep to. And I was like, then wake the fuck up, bitch. Like,
I didn't make it for that purpose.
Yeah. No.
That's.
Sorry.
Sorry.
No,
do you want
ahead.
to do the wrap up?
Yeah, I'll do the wrap up. Yeah, so it kind of, again, how I alluded to, like in a year that was a little tough, Luckstat was the most consistent it had been the entire year. Everything kind of did the same number, which was awesome. I also made videos that I think I am the most proud of. I think that the Borderlands video in particular was just absurd. I made that with Dakota. She was a huge help.
We've made that video a couple of
times.
times.
Part of it was that I made that on the old channel. I wanted to make sure that there was a version that I was extremely proud of, but different than what I had done in the past. And so I kind of really wanted to make sure that it had all of the pieces. And so at one point I was hiring somebody off of Fiverr to voice a snipe for a thing that didn't matter. And I was like, you know what? This is the video that I wanted to make. And I think that was really important. And the Crucible video as well. Those two are the videos that kind of exist side by side. Here comes the cat. Exist side by side in my head about, you know, like what Luckstat is and like what I like doing. I intend to continue to do that. We might do some more of this stuff, but if you're here, if you're however far into this video, I don't know how much I'm going to edit it down. Thank you for watching as always. And I appreciate you. Find Dakota wherever she is.
Yeah, find me. I just released a 17-hour video on the pebble that sunk the Mayflower. I don't have a name for it. You just gotta find it.
You just gotta find it. Yeah. The most painfully offline person you'll ever meet.
You'll find me here next year.
I'm finding vacation video photos and other YouTubers' videos. I went, wow, Dakota looks really good there. Well, I was like, son of a bitch. I've never seen this picture.
Oh my God.
Stopping recording. Anyways, thank you for watching.